Coach, back at it today. How are the guys looking out there?
Well, there's a few guys missing. So training these days are light. I mean, I'm just watching Brecky work with Will and Gonzo, the midfielders, and Damien and everybody just kind of taking little groups of individual players and making them better individual soccer players. So days like today, pretty easy days.
Nico put in 90 minutes today and got the win, so good to see Nico win China Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I know Nico was very keen on showing that he can still play for the national team. And, these are certainly early games before major competitions, but if he's in the mix, if he's in the group, I'm sure that'll make Nico happy.
After the break, are the guys itching to get back out there?
Yeah, I mean, everybody likes to play. I mean, I think if you go too long without games, it becomes monotonous for the guys that are here. Obviously, the guys that are playing, they get games, but, yeah, they're tired of coaches yakking at them.
Speaking of games, the Defiance played over the weekend. What went into the decision to not have any of the first teamers go down there? That would have been a chance, obviously, for them to get some competitive minutes.
Because we had a simulated scrimmage here with academy kids, the rest of Defiance that didn't go on the trip. So we wanted to be in more control over, everybody, because I wasn't going to send, Roman or Will or Harry or guys like that to Tulsa. So, we figured we could get them a good run out here on Friday, and we needed everybody to be here.
Can you think of another MLS team that turned over quite as much of its roster as Vancouver did? And is that a challenge, scouting them? Because you're very familiar with the Whitecaps typically, but they've had such turnover, I'd imagine that'd be a little
but they
bit
still have Montero and Reyna and a few pieces mixed in there, sprinkled in there. It is a little challenging because they've, tinkered with different formations. Certain things happen in their games. So, getting a real feel for what Mark wants to do certainly can be challenging. But, we'll plan for, Montero and some of their key players. And then, again, we'll try and impose our will on them and see what happens.
With the chance to go 4-0-0, is there any sort of milestone significance for that? What would it mean for the group to be the first one to do that?
Yeah, look, this team, we've urged them to try and get off to a fast start. 3 games is 3 games, 4 games is 4. Talk to me when we're 10 games in, and then there'll be some games of significance. Every single game in this league, early in the season, this is what Zig used to say, 3 points in March is the same as 3 points in October. So we're going after points. But as far as significance to this group, I think it's a pretty senior group. They kind of figure things out on their own, and I wouldn't say, okay, 4-0, it's the best start in Sounder history. I don't think anybody's thinking about that. I think we're thinking about winning, beating our arch rival, and then we'll take the next game. We'll take RSL.
As a group, you think they'd rather have the 2 weeks off or just keep doing what they were doing every week to start the season?
It's probably a little early for that first break because, they were playing well, and certainly you never, Nico playing 90, what is Gustav going to get? What are the American kids going to get? So there's certainly some things that you have to factor in. I mean, Damien is in contact with the U.S. guys about, fitness data, what they're doing in training, but, we don't get that from Uruguay, we don't get that from Sweden, so we have to kind of, take those guys back as they are. We got to check in with them before, we roll them out there against Vancouver, so we don't put them at injury risk. So from a group standpoint, it's probably better that we could have played, but it's FIFA. It's the world of game.
Did you get to watch any league games over the weekend? Anything surprise you?
Well, yeah, Walker Zimmerman's goal. I mean, is that a center back? Can you imagine Chad doing that? I pay attention. I mean, the teams were a little depleted, but look, RSL's our next opponent 2 games down the road, so, it was an interesting game to watch.
What have you made of the role Greg has had Christian in so far, and how is it similar to what you guys have him do here? Or is it different?
Well, there's lots of similarities. I mean, Christian playing in the pockets, I think he's done that naturally for us. Last year he played, out right midfield, always pinched in. So I think there's certain, similarities for sure. The expectations, getting up and down, doing the work. Christian does all that with a lot of enthusiasm for both us and the national team. So it's always good to see Christian getting out there.
How's your bracket looking?
Didn't do one. Save that for the, the smart Brad Smiths of the world and all that.